dear beloved friend. As the first golden strands of sunlight stretch across the horizon and the hush of early morning rests gently over the earth, I welcome you into this sacred moment. This is the hour when the world has not yet rushed in, when silence still lingers between the notes of nature, and the sky itself seems to hold its breath. This is not just the beginning of another day, it is a divine invitation. A quiet, holy space carved out before the noise begins, where your soul is free to whisper, to breathe, to be heard. It is here, in the soft light of dawn, that hearts are most open and heaven feels closest. Somewhere, perhaps not far from where you sit right now, there is someone who woke up before their alarm, not because they were refreshed, but because they were restless. Maybe it was the ache of something unresolved. Maybe it was the weight of anxiety pressing against their chest. Maybe they had cried themselves to sleep, and the morning did not feel like a fresh start. It felt like a continuation of the ache. They reached for their phone in the dark, not for social media, not for news, but just to feel less alone. And in that simple act of searching, their soul was quietly reaching for something sacred. Maybe that someone is you. We live in a world full of motion, full of noise, full of demands that press in before the sun even rises. It is easy to feel forgotten in it all. Easy to believe you have to carry everything on your own. Maybe you are carrying a diagnosis that has not been named yet. Maybe you are walking through grief that others think should have passed. Maybe you are smiling on the outside, but feel like you are unraveling on the inside. Whatever your burden is, it is real, and you do not have to pretend it is not. But, dear friend, there is something greater than pain, greater than fear, greater than confusion. There is a presence that sees all, holds all, and never leaves, not even for a moment. That presence is not passive. It is not distant. It is watchful, intentional, and full of power. It is the gaze of a loving God whose eyes are never distracted, whose heart is never indifferent, and whose protection is never delayed. The world may overlook you. People may misjudge you, but you are seen deeply, truly, and constantly by the one who formed you. And this morning, as you sit in the calm between yesterday and today, I want to invite you on a journey, not a journey of perfect words or polished rituals, but a journey of honesty, a journey of surrender, a journey into the kind of prayer that does not just speak, but listens, that does not just ask, but trusts, that does not just hope, but believes. Over the next 24 chapters, we will walk through valleys of uncertainty, climb hills of faith, and rest in meadows of peace. We will cry out, we will listen, and we will grow, not because we are strong, because the one we pray to is. Prayer is not a performance. It is not a formula. It is a conversation with the one who already knows every detail and still leans in closer. It is the meeting place between heaven and earth, between weakness and power, between fear and assurance. There is strength in surrender. There is clarity in stillness. There is breakthrough in whispering the name of the one who never sleeps. So wherever you are right now, curled up on the edge of your bed, sitting quietly at your kitchen table, or driving through the still streets with the windows cracked open to the morning air, this moment is holy. Let your guard down. Let your heart breathe. You do not have to earn the right to be heard. You are already welcomed, already loved, already held. Together, let us enter the sacred space of prayer, not as strangers trying to impress a distant God, but as children returning to the one who has been watching over us all along. Open your heart, steady your breath, and step with me into the stillness. For the one who watches never sleeps, and he is waiting to meet you here. Dear Heavenly Father, I woke up before the world stirred, before the sky turned blue, before the first bird sang. The room was still dark, but my heart felt even darker. There is a weight I cannot name pressing on my chest, a silence louder than any noise I heard yesterday. My eyes opened, but my spirit hesitated. I did not want to face the day. I am tired in a way that sleep does not fix. Tired not just in my body, but in my soul. I sat up on the edge of my bed and stared into the stillness, wondering how I got here, wondering why it feels like everything is slipping through my hands. Lord, I do not want to pretend with you. I do not want to say that I am fine when I am not. I do not want to speak strong words when I feel weak. So here I am. Unfiltered, uncertain, unraveling. I have tried to hold things together, to smile through the pressure, to push forward when I wanted to stop. But this morning, I feel like I am standing at the edge of something I cannot control. Maybe it is sorrow. Maybe it is fear. Maybe it is the ache of feeling forgotten. I do not even know how to name this feeling. I just know that I cannot carry it by myself. You see me, even when no one else does. You see the thoughts I do not speak out loud. You see the moments I hide behind busy schedules and polite answers. You see the questions I bury, the grief I brush aside, the quiet anger I do not understand. I do not know how to fix what feels broken. I do not know what to pray for exactly, but I do know that you are near, even when I cannot feel it. I believe that somewhere beyond the fog of this heaviness, you are holding me. Father, I do not need you to explain everything. I do not need a roadmap. I just need to know that I am not alone in this moment. I need you to remind me that this H has not gone unnoticed, that even this morning of quiet despair is not wasted. You are the God who sees, the God who knows, the God who cares. You are not distant. You are not too busy. And you are not disappointed in my weakness. If I am honest, some mornings I wake up and wonder if things will ever change, if the answers I am hoping for will ever come, if the healing I need will ever reach the parts of me that still hurt. But today, I bring those questions to you. I bring the uncertainty, the confusion, the pain. I bring the whole weight of who I am and place it in your hands. Because no matter how lost I feel, I believe you have not lost sight of me. Remind me that I do not have to earn your attention. I do not have to get everything right to be held by you. I do not have to wear a mask in prayer. I can come as I am. And this morning, I am weary. I am vulnerable. I am cracked open by the pressure of all that I am carrying. But I believe that in the breaking, you meet me in the silence. You are speaking. In the stillness, you are surrounding me with grace. Father, lift this weight, not by removing every problem, but by reminding me of your presence. I do not ask for you to erase the pain. I ask for you to enter into it with me, to walk beside me through it, to steady my trembling hands, to quiet the racing thoughts that steal my peace. I need you to be near, not in theory, but in reality, not as an idea, but as a presence I can lean into. You say that you are close to the brokenhearted, that you save those crushed in spirit, so come close now. Whisper what my heart needs to hear, even if it is just one word, even if it is just the comfort of knowing you are in the room. You see the mess that no one else sees. And still, you draw near. Help me take one step this morning, even if it is small. Help me get out of bed not because I feel strong, but because you will walk with me. Help me breathe deeply and believe that this moment is not too dark for your light to reach, that this weight is not too heavy for your hands to hold, that I do not have to be my own rescue. You are the one who rescues me. I release the need to understand everything today. I let go of trying to be enough for everyone. I surrender the fear that keeps telling me I am falling behind, missing out, or too broken to be used. You are not asking me to prove anything this morning. You are asking me to be still, to come, to open my hands and let you hold what I cannot. So here I am, raw, real, reaching for you, not with eloquence, but with honesty, not with certainty, but with faith as small as a breath. And I believe that is enough for you. I believe you meet me in the morning not because I am good, but because you are. Not because I have done everything right, but because you are faithful even when I feel like falling apart. Thank you for hearing me. Thank you for being awake when I cannot sleep. Thank you for staying when others leave, for knowing when I have no words and holding the ones I cannot say. This morning may not feel beautiful, but it is sacred, because you are here, and that is enough to begin. Father, you heard me in the silence. Even when my lips could not form the right words, you understood every tremble in my chest. And now, as I sit in the stillness that follows honesty, something inside me begins to stir. It is not strength yet. It is not clarity, but it is movement, like the first ripple on a quiet lake before the wind begins to blow. I do not feel whole, but I feel open, and I know that is enough for you. The room is still dim, but my soul is reaching for something steady, reaching for you. I cannot explain why the ache feels sharper in the morning. Maybe because the world has not distracted me yet. Maybe because before anything else can reach me, my pain has the first word. But today, I do not want the ache to speak louder than my need for you. I want to cry out, not in bitterness, but in surrender. I want to turn my pain into a prayer. I have carried so much without telling anyone. I have smiled when I was breaking. I have been present while feeling invisible. And now, I feel the urge to cry not out of hopelessness, but because I am tired of hiding what you already see. I have nothing polished to offer. Only this, a cry from a heart that longs to be held, cry from a soul that does not need more explanations, but longs for connection. I do not even know if I am asking for anything specific. I just need you to notice, to respond, to make this sacred. So I cry, not with noise, but with need, not with volume, but with honesty. My tears may be invisible, but they are real. They carry stories I do not have the energy to retell. They carry burdens I never asked for. They carry moments I do not even understand myself. And I give them to you, one by one, hoping they are not too small for your attention, hoping they fall not to the ground, but into your hands. I cry because I am overwhelmed, not just by tasks or pressure, but by emotion I have tried to outrun, and it finds me here, in the quiet, where I can no longer outrun anything. But maybe this is not the moment to escape it. Maybe this is the moment to feel it fully, and let you meet me here, not to fix me, but to find me, not to rush me, but to sit with me. Father, there is something holy about being undone in front of you. It is not weakness. It is permission. It is giving myself the freedom to need you, to need comfort, to need answers I might not get but still believe will come, to cry without guilt, to fall without shame, to be completely human in the arms of the one who made me. So I cry, and in that cry, I offer trust. Trust that you are listening, even when no one else knows I am speaking. I trust that you are leaning close, even when I cannot feel the warmth of your presence. I trust that you are not offended by my questions or pushed away by my sorrow. I trust that the tears I release are known to you and not wasted, that every drop has weight in heaven. Today, I do not cry because I am giving up. I cry because I believe you are near enough to hear me. I cry because something in me knows I do not have to carry this alone anymore. I cry because I want to believe again, to hope again, to feel something other than numbness. And maybe this is the first step. You are the Father who sees in secret, the one who hears the cries that never make a sound, the one who kneels beside broken hearts and calls them precious. I need you to kneel here, in this space with me. I need you not to remove the pain, but to wrap it in your mercy, to make this morning a place of encounter. Not escape, a place where I feel known again, held again. I know that the world will ask me to be strong, to hold it together, to rise up quickly and shake this off. But I do not want to rush this moment, because in this moment, you are here, not with demands, but with compassion, not with judgment, but with grace. So I will let the tears fall. I will let the ache speak. I will let this fragile, trembling cry be my offering. And maybe that is the beginning of healing, not when the pain ends, but when I let you enter into it, not when I am fixed, but when I allow you to sit in the broken with me. I do not need a miracle right now. I just need to be reminded that I am not forgotten, that this cry has an echo in heaven, that even here, even now, I am seen. So I cry, not out of despair, but as a declaration of my dependence. I cry because I believe you are close, because I trust that this rawness is not shameful to you, because I am tired of pretending and ready to be embraced. You are the Father who is drawn to desperation, who does not turn away from broken voices, who steps toward the ones who fall at your feet. And I fall here, not because I am weak, but because I am ready to be found again. If the only prayer I can offer today is my cry, let it be enough. If all I can bring is my longing, let it reach you. If I have no strength to rise yet, then hold me where I am, and if I must wait in the quiet, then let me wait with you beside me. You are the God of comfort, and this is where I need you most. In the tear I cannot explain, in the H I cannot name, in the space between what I lost and what I hope for. This is where I meet you now. This is where my cry becomes communion. This is where you speak not through answers, but through presence, and presence is enough. Father, even as the quiet of my cry settles into this space, something deeper begins to rise within me, not noise, not certainty, but memory, not the loud kind, not the kind dressed in celebration or marked by milestones, but the soft kind, the hidden kind, moments when you came through and I did not fully see it until later, moments when rescue did not wear the costume of a miracle, but came disguised as a delay, a closed door, a change I never would have chosen on my own. As I sit here, still raw from the tears that spilled in silence, I begin to remember. Not perfectly, not in a straight line, but in flickers like distant lamps lit in the dark. There was a time I thought I was abandoned, but somehow the worst never happened. There was a season I thought I would break completely, but something always held me together, even when I did not recognize that it was you. I did not see your hand then, but looking back now, I know it was you who pulled me through. I remember walking into rooms heavy with fear, and leaving with peace I could not explain. I remember prayers I whispered, not even expecting an answer, only to find that things shifted when I least expected them to. I remember days when I was drowning in doubt, and then someone said something at just the right time, with just the right words, and I felt seen. It was not random. It was not luck. It was you. Quiet, faithful, unmistakable in hindsight. You have saved me from things I never even knew were threats. You rerouted me before I walked into danger. You silenced voices that would have wounded me more than I understood at the time. You kept my heart from attaching to places it was not meant to stay. You closed some doors not to punish me, but to protect me. I did not thank you then, but I thank you now. For every no that was really a mercy. For every silence that was actually shelter. For every moment you were working behind the curtain, when I thought nothing was happening. It humbles me, Father, to realize how many times I thought you were absent, when you were in fact nearest. How often I mistook your protection for your distance. How I judged the pain of the moment without seeing the grace beneath it. I wanted rescue in my way, in my time. But you offered something deeper, protection I did not recognize. You held me steady when I did not even know I was slipping. You shielded me when I did not know I was exposed. And so, today, I do not just remember pain. I remember your presence inside of it. I do not just revisit the weight, I revisit the strength that carried me through it. You were there when I did not know how to pray. You were there when I pushed you away in frustration. You were there when I numbed myself just to get through the day. You were not offended by my withdrawal. You stayed. You kept watch. You waited patiently for my heart to turn back and notice. I do not want to forget those rescues. Father, not the dramatic ones, not the quiet ones, not the answered prayers, and not the ones you answered in ways I did not understand. I want to carry them with me today. I want to let remembrance be the soil where my hope grows again. Because if you were faithful then, you will be faithful now. If you saw me then, you see me still. If you protected me in secret, surely you are protecting me again right now, even in the places I cannot perceive. Let these memories of rescue become stones I stack at the edge of my doubt. Let them be reminders that you have never left me to face the flood alone. Let the weight of what you have already done steady me when fear tries to rise again. You did not bring me this far just to abandon me. You have carried me through waters I did not think I could survive. You have quieted storms I thought would never end. You have lifted me from shadows I thought would consume me. And if you did it before, then surely you are not done with me yet. I bring these memories to you like offerings fragile, imperfect, but full of meaning. And in this moment, they become something holy. They become proof that even when I am too wary to believe, your past goodness reminds me why I still can. When I question whether you hear me now, I look back and realize you always did. When I wonder if you will act, I remember that you already have again and again. Without applause, without delay, without failure, so I rest in these remembrances. I let them warm the cold places in my faith. I let them remind me that today is not an isolated chapter. It is part of a story you have been writing with care. A story where you have shown up again and again. Where you have been the rescuer, the shield, the guide, not just for me, but for so many others. You are a God with a track record, and that matters. Father, I know the enemy wants me to forget. He wants me to live only in the H of now, blind to the evidence of before. But I will not forget. I will not erase the moments where you pulled me through, even when I did not realize how close I was to falling apart. I will speak them out. I will name them quietly in my heart. I will let them anchor me when the winds return. And they will return, the winds of fear, the waves of uncertainty, the unexpected changes. But I will face them not as someone empty, but as someone who remembers, as someone who has been rescued before, as someone who knows what it means to be kept by unseen hands. You were there in the past. You are here now, and you will go before me again. That truth is my peace. That memory is my strength. That history is my hope. Father, the memories of your unseen hand have steadied my breath. As I sit in the quiet and reflect on the ways you have always been near, even when I did not see it, I feel something shifting inside me. The fear has not disappeared, and the questions have not all dissolved, but something softer is beginning to settle in. It is not the roar of confidence or the loud clang of certainty. It is something gentler, a whisper, and I believe it is you. You do not always speak in thunder. You do not always break through the clouds with signs that shake the earth. Sometimes, you lean in close and speak where no one else can hear. And right now, I want to hear you. I want to know what you are saying, not just with my ears, but with my heart. I want to catch the whisper, the one that comes not through volume, but through nearness. Because I know you are not far, I know you are here. I have been so used to noise, so used to chasing clarity through answers and solutions. But your voice does not always rise above the chaos. Sometimes it invites me beneath it. Sometimes it waits until I stop grasping, until I stop explaining, until I stop trying to make sense of everything. And then, quietly, it speaks, not with long speeches, not with commands, but with one phrase, one truth, one nudge that lets me know I am not walking through this alone. Speak now, Father, in the way only you can, not to impress me, but to steady me, not to overwhelm, but to anchor. I do not need grand declarations. I just need one word that reminds me you still guide. One whisper that says, "This is the way." I need the still small voice that Elijah heard in the cave, not in the wind or the fire or the earthquake, but in the silence. That is the voice I am listening for today. The one that does not push, but gently invites. I confess I have missed it before. I have run ahead. I have filled the space with my own voice, my own worry, my own logic. I have let the volume of fear drown out the gentle prompting of your spirit. And yet, you have not stopped speaking. You have just waited until I was quiet enough to notice, until I turned aside long enough to listen, until I surrendered my need for control and leaned into stillness. And here I am, finally still enough to hear you breathe. Let your whisper find me in the in-between places, in the pauses between decisions, in the hesitation before I respond, in the split second before I react. Whisper wisdom into those fragile gaps. Guide me with a sound so soft the world won't catch it, but my soul will. Lead me not by pressure, but by peace, not by fear, but by confidence that comes from knowing your voice is worth trusting. I do not ask for every answer today, but I ask for the ability to hear the difference between your whisper and the voice of my own anxiety. Help me recognize when it is you calling me to pause, when it is you telling me to wait, when it is you shifting my direction without the need for drama. Let me not miss you because I expected you to shout. Let me not ignore you because I wanted something more immediate. You are not a God of confusion. You are not playing games with my future. You are not speaking in riddles to leave me stuck. You are drawing me close, teaching me to trust the leading that does not always come with clarity, but always comes with peace. Help me get used to the language of stillness. Help me understand the way you lead with silence sometimes. Not because you are absent, but because you are intimate. Father, make me sensitive to your nearness. Let my spirit become familiar with the rhythm of your presence. Let me not be so addicted to loud answers that I miss the quiet direction. You do not rush, so help me not to rush ahead of you. You do not pressure, so help me not to move from panic. You lead with love. with patience, with insight that sees what I cannot. Let that be enough to slow me down and center me in your wisdom. You know what is ahead, even when I do not. You see the unseen intersections, the hidden motives, the future outcomes I cannot predict. So I lean into your whisper, not to gain control, but to follow the one who already sees the way. If you tell me to wait, I will wait. If you prompt me to move, I will move. But above all, I ask you to make your whisper unmistakable, not because you are loud, but because I am listening. Train me to be still enough to notice when you are nudging, when you are redirecting me with a pause, when you are warning me with a holy discomfort, when you are confirming something through a sense of rest. Let me not override those moments. Let me treasure them, because those are the places where trust grows. Those are the moments where intimacy deepens. And I want to know you more than I want answers. I want to walk through this day tuned to your presence, alert to your whisper. In conversations, in tasks, in transitions, let me carry an awareness that you are leading me gently, faithfully, purposefully. I do not need loud signs. I do not need perfect clarity. I just need to know that you are with me, that you are speaking, that I am not wandering on my own. And I believe you are. I believe you are already ahead of me, already beside me, already preparing what I cannot yet see. So I will keep listening, not with striving, but with expectation, not for thunder, but for breath. I will move at the pace of your voice. I will wait for the whisper before I decide. And I will trust that even if the way is quiet, it is still certain, because you do not lead in confusion. You lead in love. You guide by grace. And your whisper is all I need to hear. Father, even as I learn to listen for your whisper, I begin to realize something deeper, something I did not have words for until now. It is not just that you speak softly. It is that you never stop watching. You see me fully, constantly, without distraction. You do not blink. You do not shift your focus. You do not scan the world and miss me in the blur. I live under your gaze, not as a number or a name in a crowd, but as someone known, remembered, loved. That thought both comforts and humbles me, because there are moments I feel like I disappear in the background. I move through rooms, through routines, through responsibilities, and it feels like no one really sees beyond the surface. I do what needs to be done. I show up. I smile. I push through. But inside, there are questions, waits, hesitations I cannot always explain. And yet, you see all of it. You notice the shift in my breath. You catch the pause in my spirit. You observe the things that go unspoken, unnoticed, untouched by anyone else. You do not need me to perform to get your attention. I already have it. There is something steadying about knowing you are not far off. You are not glancing at me from a distance. You are not looking away when things get messy. Your eyes are not scanning for mistakes. They are guarding my soul. They are fixed, not in scrutiny, but in love. You watch me like a shepherd watches his sheep, not to control, but to protect, not to criticize, but to cover. Your gaze is full of intention, full of care, full of truth. Today, I step into this day with the quiet awareness that I am seen. Every decision I make, every step I take, every interaction I encounter, it all unfolds under the watch of a Father who never loses sight of me. I do not walk into an empty space. I do not face unknowns alone. I am moving forward under the surveillance of grace, under the covering of eyes that have never missed a moment of my life. And what brings me even greater peace is this: your watch is not passive. You are not simply observing, as if to record what happens next. You are involved. You are active. You are present in ways I may never fully grasp. You are not waiting to be invited in. You are already here, already scanning ahead, already seeing what I cannot, preparing what I do not yet know I will need. Nothing about this day catches you off guard. No conversation, no encounter, no challenge surprises you. You saw it coming. And more than that, you have already made provision for it. I used to believe I had to pray for you to notice me. I thought I had to earn your involvement. But I know now I was never invisible. I was never forgotten, even in my silence, even in my stillness. Your eyes have remained on me. Your heart has remained for me. You have watched over me when I was too tired to lift my head. You have watched over me when I doubted you were even near. You have watched over me not because I was perfect, but because I belong to you. And so, I no longer fear being unseen. I no longer measure my worth by how visible I am to people, how affirmed I feel by the world. Because your eyes are more than enough. Your gaze is my assurance. Your attention is my anchor. You know when I sit and when I rise. You understand my thoughts from afar. You are acquainted with all my ways. That truth quiets the noise around me and brings stillness to the storms within. Even when others misunderstand me, you see my heart. Even when I second-guess my own motives, you discern truth from fear. Even when I hesitate, unsure of the right path, you watch not just the road beneath me, but the weight I am carrying as I walk. Your sight is more than eyesight. It is insight. It sees through every layer. It separates noise from need. It meets me in my exact condition and does not flinch. Father, thank you for watching over the parts of me I often overlook, for seeing the wariness behind the routine, for noticing the discouragement beneath the diligence, for recognizing the dreams I no longer speak out loud. You do not dismiss what I think is too small to mention. You do not ignore the places in me that have grown quiet with time. You remember what I have forgotten. You keep track of what I have let slip. You still care, even when I struggle to. Let your watching be my covering today. Let it remind me that I do not have to perform to be loved. Let it steady me when I feel unsure of my place or my purpose. Let it keep me from falling into comparison, into striving, into self-doubt, because your eyes are not just seeing me, they are guiding me. They are reminding me that even in a world full of distraction, I am held in focus by you. And when fear whispers that I am alone, I will remember your gaze, When failure tells me I have been disqualified, I will remember your faithfulness. When shame tries to make me hide, I will remember that you have never looked away, not even once. Your eyes have never closed to my pain. Your heart has never hardened to my cries. Your love has never blinked in the face of my brokenness. I do not have to be perfect to be protected. I do not have to be fearless to be watched. I do not have to have all the answers to be led. I am yours. And that is enough for your attention. I am seen. And that is enough to walk through today without fear. So I lift my head, not in pride, but in quiet confidence, because I know you are watching, and your watch is my peace. Father, if your gaze gives me peace, then your silence holds something sacred too. I used to think that silence meant absence, that if you did not speak loudly or move visibly, you were not working. But the more I walk with you, the more I understand there is a kind of protection you give without announcement. There are rescues you carry out without thunder or spectacle. You guard me in ways that do not draw attention but change everything. You deliver me quietly, gently, and often without my awareness. Sometimes I look back on seasons that felt still, times that felt slow, and I realize now they were not empty. They were filled with unseen mercy. You were moving pieces I did not know existed. You were pulling me back from edges I could not see. You were hiding me in plain sight while danger passed by. And I never saw the storm because you silenced it before it could rise. Not every miracle is loud. Not every rescue is dramatic. Sometimes you just intervene so early I do not even know I needed saving. This morning, as I sit beneath the awareness of your watchful care, I remember how many things could have gone differently. How many situations could have taken a darker turn. How many choices, words, connections, or delays seemed meaningless at the time, but became the very threads that kept me whole. I did not know I was being delivered, but now I do. And I cannot help but thank you not just for what I see, but for all you have prevented, for the threats you diffused before they had shape, for the battles you won before I arrived at the battlefield. I used to pray for rescue that looked like rescue loud, swift, undeniable. But you have taught me that sometimes the greatest miracles are the ones no one sees. The decisions you reroute, the calls you interrupt, the relationships you end before they can harm, the illnesses you stop before symptoms show, the meetings you cancel, the words you withhold, the steps you redirect. None of it is random. All of it is rescue. And I begin to see how deeply you are involved, even when nothing around me looks different. Father, help me honor the protection that does not announce itself. Help me recognize the weight of your hand, even when it moves invisibly. Teach me to be as grateful for the prayers you answered with silence as I am for the ones you answered with sudden change, because I know now silence does not mean indifference. It means precision. It means you are working in ways too detailed, too strategic, too timely for me to understand just yet. You are never late. You are never unaware. You are never caught off guard. So I choose to believe that today, even in the areas that feel slow, stalled, or stuck, you are still moving. still preventing, still guiding me away from harm I may never recognize. And I choose to thank you now for the threats I will never meet, the lies I will never hear, the pain I will never carry, all because you stood between me and what could have broken me. You deliver not for display, but for love. You intervene not for applause, but for compassion. You do not need an audience to do holy work. You do not need witnesses to prove you are at work. You are secure in your faithfulness, and so am I. Even when no one sees, I will trust. Even when I do not feel the shift, I will rest in your unseen strength. Father, I ask you to keep doing what only you can do. Keep blocking what is not for me. Keep protecting me from choices I would regret. Keep exposing the false before it becomes familiar. Keep removing the wrong before it becomes comfortable. Rescue me quietly, thoroughly, completely, not only from danger, but from distraction, from compromise, from all that would pull me away from your best for me. Let me not resent delays that are actually deliverance. Let me not mourn doors that were never meant to open. Let me not chase after opportunities that you closed with intention. Instead, help me see divine mercy in the subtle redirection. Let me celebrate the path that keeps me within your will, even when it is not the one I imagined, because being safe in your plan is better than being seen in mine. I do not always understand the timing. I do not always get to see the full picture, but I trust the artist. I trust that what you shield me from is as important as what you give, that no protection is wasted, no delay is arbitrary, and no movement of your hand is without meaning. You are too wise to be random, too loving to be silent without purpose. So I quiet myself today, not in defeat, but in reverence. I still my questions, not because they do not matter, but because I believe you are answering them through actions I have not noticed yet. And I welcome your rescue loud or soft, expected or unrecognizable. However you move, I receive it. However you save, I call it sacred. Even when it does not look like a miracle, I trust it is one. Let me not measure your faithfulness by how dramatic the outcome appears. Let me measure it by how deeply I feel your presence. How often you bring peace where there should be panic. How consistently you hold me when I did not even know I was falling. That is rescue. That is you. And so today, I choose to live in grateful awareness. Grateful for the visible and the invisible. Grateful for the obvious and the hidden. Grateful for every moment I thought nothing happened, but you were already stepping in. I may never know the full weight of what you have saved me from, but I will live every day as if I do, because your silence is not empty. It is layered with love, and every moment I walk without fear. It is because you are guarding what I cannot see. Father, if you have taught me to recognize your protection in silence, then help me now to trust you when everything around me feels unclear. There are days when I wake up and the path ahead looks blurry, when the questions outnumber the answers, and I can't tell which way is forward. My heart wants direction, but my eyes only see fog. And yet, even in this haze, I believe you are still leading. You have not stopped watching. You have not let go of my hand. I used to think trust was easy when I had all the information, but what I am learning is that real trust begins when visibility ends, when the next step feels uncertain, but I take it anyway, when I no longer rely on what I see, but on the one who sees everything. That is the kind of trust I want to grow, in the kind that does not demand clarity, but responds to presence. The kind that does not wait for proof, but follows peace. The kind that says, even if I can see what is next, I know you are already there. Today, I confess that I feel unsure. Not because I have stopped believing in you, because I do not know how to move through this fog. I want to make the right decisions. I want to avoid the wrong turns. But more than anything, I want to stay in step with you, not running ahead, not falling behind, just moving with you, even when it feels like I am walking through clouds with no landmarks. Father, be my vision when I have none. Let your eyes guide me through what mine cannot comprehend. Show me how to live from a place of assurance, not because everything is certain, but because you are. You have already scanned the path. You have already stood in the moments I have not reached yet. Nothing about my tomorrow is unfamiliar to you. And even if you do not clear the fog all at once, I trust that you will guide me step by step. Sometimes I wish you would lay the whole map in front of me. I wish I could see the full journey, the turns and timelines, the people and provisions. But maybe that is not faith. Maybe faith looks like walking forward with only your whisper in my ear and your hand at my back. Maybe the fog is less about confusion and more about dependence. Maybe it is where I learn to lean in, not to figure it out, but to stay close. And so I choose not to resent the fog today. I choose to let it be the place where intimacy grows. The place where I do not have to perform, do not have to impress, just have to listen. I choose to believe that in this uncertainty, you are weaving something steady and good. I choose to believe that what is hidden to me is still fully visible to you. That while I feel surrounded by the unknown, I am surrounded more deeply by your understanding. You have never needed clear skies to guide your people. You led Israel by fire at night and a cloud by day. You moved in ways that required attention, not assumption. You did not always explain, but you never missiled. And I believe you are still that kind of leader, not one who lays it all out at once, but one who gives just enough light for the next step. One who is more interested in our nearness than our certainty. Father, teach me to move without fear, to trust the pace you set, even if it feels slow, to rest when you say rest, to move when you say move, not because I have figured it out, but because I have surrendered the need to. Let my confidence today come not from what I see, but from who I know. Let my stability come not from what is explained, from what is promised. You have promised to never leave me. You have promised to direct my steps. You have promised to be with me in every valley and every shadow. So even if I feel like I am walking through fog, I am not walking alone. Your voice is my compass. Your presence is my anchor. And that is more than enough for this moment. Help me silence the voices that feed my fear, the voices that tell me I must have all the answers, that I must act quickly or miss my chance. Replace that noise with your calm, with your wisdom, with your peace that steadies even when logic wavers. Because peace is not the absence of mystery. It is the presence of you. I do not know how long the fog will last. I do not know when clarity will return. But I know that you are not anxious about any of it. You are not pacing or panicking. You are steady, unshaken, unhurried. And if I stay near you, I will be the same. I will move through this day as someone held, not someone guessing. As someone watched over, not someone forgotten. As someone being led, not someone lost. So guide me in the small things. In conversations. In reactions. In what I choose to carry and what I lay down. Help me pause long enough to sense your direction. Help me recognize the nudge of your spirit in moments that seem mundane. Help me not to rush just to escape discomfort, but to trust that sometimes the fog is your mercy. It slows me down to protect me. It humbles me to listen. It teaches me to wait and even hear. Even now, even without all the answers, I trust you. I trust the one who sees me when I cannot see what is ahead. I trust the one who counts each breath and watches every step. I trust the one who has never abandoned me in any season. Because if the fog is where you are, then the fog is where I want to be. If this is what draws me closer, then let it remain until it has finished its holy work in me. You are not hiding from me. You are teaching me to walk by faith, not by sight. And though it feels uncertain, it is sacred. This fog is not my enemy. It is the place where I learn to follow your eyes instead of my own. Where I learn that being led by you is better than seeing clearly without you. Where I remember that even when nothing is clear, you still are. Father, the fog has taught me to follow, not to force. And now, as I linger in that same stillness, I am beginning to understand something I did not before, that what I once called delay may have been your mercy. What I used to see as a roadblock may have been your redirection. That the times I felt like you were holding me back were actually the moments you were holding me safe. I used to equate delay with denial, but you are showing me that not all waiting is loss. Some of it is love. There have been doors I tried to push open with all my strength. Doors that looked good, felt right, even seemed godly. I assumed timing did not matter if the desire was pure. But then the door did not open, or it cracked, only to shut again, and I blamed myself. I questioned if I was unworthy, if I had missed something, if I had failed in a way I could not fix. But looking back now, I see that you were not rejecting me. You were protecting me from what I could not yet see. You saw the pressure I was not ready for. You saw the weight I would have carried too soon. You saw the cracks in the foundation I thought was solid. And instead of letting me walk through a door that would collapse beneath me, you stood in front of it with silence. You slowed me down when I tried to outrun wisdom. You paused me when I wanted to sprint into something premature. And though I did not understand it then, I see now that your love is willing to disappoint my expectations in order to secure my future. So today, Father, I choose to see every delay through the lens of your care. I choose to believe that when you say not yet, it is not a punishment, it is a promise. a promise that you are preparing something better, something fuller, something rooted in more than my ambition. I choose to believe that slowing down does not mean I am behind. It means you are building something in me that can withstand what is ahead. Waiting is hard, especially when I see others moving forward, when opportunities seem to pass me by. When my heart is ready but the path is not clear, I feel the pull to act, to grab, to make something happen. But you are asking me to stay still long enough for peace to become my direction. Not pressure, not panic, peace. You are asking me to trust that being held back is sometimes the greatest form of being held. Father, help me resist the urge to fill the silence with noise. Help me quiet the inner voice that says delay equals failure. Remind me that every pause has purpose, that every moment of waiting is a sacred classroom where I learn trust not by seeing results, but by staying rooted in your presence. Let patience do its work in me. Let it shape my character before it ever opens a door. Let it teach me to value becoming more than arriving. You are not in a rush. You are not driven by deadlines. You are not worried about time running out. You see the full picture, and you move in seasons, not seconds. So let me align with your pace. Let me walk with rhythm, not with restlessness. Let me believe that if you are not opening something right now, it is not because you are absent, but because you are weaving something I would ruin if I entered too soon. There is a reason you let me wait, and I do not want to waste that reason by wishing it away. Instead, I want to sit with it, to listen to it, to ask what you are forming in the quiet, what you are mending in my soul while the outside world stays unchanged, what you are removing from my heart that would weaken me later. This delay is not dead space. It is holy ground. I have learned that your best work is often slow, that roots take time to go deep before fruit ever shows, that trust is built in repetition, not in rush. And so I surrender my timelines to you. I surrender my impatience, my internal clock, my silent comparisons. I lay them all down and lift my hands not for movement, but for meaning. If you are delaying something, I do not want it until you say it is ready. I do not want anything that requires me to leave peace behind just to grab it. Let your timing lead me. Let it settle my anxious heart when nothing seems to be shifting. Let it remind me that what looks like stillness to me is movement in your hands. You are the God who does not delay without reason, who never makes mistakes in pacing, who holds the hours of my life like a master composer, crafting every pause and every crescendo with intention. So I trust you with the space between. And if today holds no open doors, no clear answers, no sudden changes, I will not despair. I will remember that delay is not abandonment, that your not yet is just as loving as your yes, that sometimes the greatest thing you give me is the time to become who I need to be before I arrive at what I have prayed for. So I will sit with you in this moment, in this in-between. I will breathe deeply and resist the urge to force progress. I will choose to believe that you are not just preparing the place. I am the one you are preparing. And I want to be ready, not just externally, but within, ready to carry the weight with grace, ready to steward the blessing with wisdom, ready to walk through the door not in desperation, but in peace. Father, thank you for loving me enough to delay what I was not ready for. Thank you for teaching me that slow is not stagnant, that stillness is not punishment, that the process is sacred even when it feels invisible. You are never wasting time. You are investing it. And I am the ground where that investment is growing, even when I can feel it, even when I do not yet see it. So today, I will wait, not in frustration, but in faith, not in defeat, but in expectation. Because I know now delayed does not mean denied. It means you care too much to let me arrive too soon. And I trust the hands that hold me back are the same hands that will one day lead me forward. Father, if delays have taught me to trust your pace, then restraint is what teaches me to trust your wisdom. Because sometimes it is not just about slowing down, it is about stopping entirely. About letting go of what I thought was right, what I was ready to act on, what I had already rehearsed in my mind. There have been moments when my next step felt certain, when I had already leaned my weight forward, only for something unseen to press gently on my chest and hold me still. And though I may not have realized it at the time, that something was you. You have saved me with silence. But you have also protected me through hesitation. Those quiet interruptions, those feelings I could not explain, those inner hesitations that made no logical sense, they were not indecision. They were divine restraint. You whispered pause before I could walk into something that would have led to confusion, exhaustion, or regret. And now I see how merciful it is to be told to stop before the cliff appears beneath my feet. I used to think obedience meant going, moving, acting in faith. But now I understand obedience also means staying when everything inside me wants to chase forward. Obedience means being willing to hold back when my pride says, "Prove yourself." It means turning away when my heart says this feels good, but your spirit says this is not me. It means trusting that you are not only the God who opens doors, but the God who bars them for my protection. Father, thank you for not giving me everything I wanted just because I asked. Thank you for holding me back when I tried to run ahead. Thank you for the wisdom to say no when yes would have been easier, because those were the moments that shaped something deeper in me. Those were the places where discernment was planted, where reverence grew, where I learned that not every good thing is a God thing, that not every open path is the right one, that not every opportunity is meant to be pursued. You know what is beyond what I see. You understand the intentions I can't detect. You discern the motives behind invitations. You see the layers I would miss if I moved too quickly. And I trust that you are not holding me back to frustrate me, but to spare me, not to punish me, but to grow me. There is something sacred about being told not yet, not just in timing, but in direction, and I want to honor that voice, even when it goes against my own momentum. Help me become someone who does not need constant movement to feel significant. Help me resist the urge to fill every gap with action, every still moment with striving. Teach me that my value is not in how much I do, but in how closely I follow you. Even if following means standing still, even if it means stepping away, even if it means letting something go before it becomes a wound I never intended to carry. Restraint is not weakness. It is spiritual maturity. It is the discipline of trusting you more than I trust my own instincts. It is the humility to say, I do not know everything, and the courage to let go even when I do not have a replacement plan. It is the kind of obedience that happens in the shadows, unnoticed by others but seen clearly by you. And I want to be that kind of obedient, not just when it is visible, but when it is silent, not just when it is celebrated, but when it costs me what I wanted. There are places I almost went, people I almost trusted, decisions I almost made that would have changed everything. But you stepped in, sometimes through a sudden lack of peace, sometimes through a conversation that made me reconsider, sometimes through closed doors, unanswered calls, or a deep discomfort I could not shake. And now I understand that was love. That was restraint doing its holy work. That was you calling me to higher ground, even when the path seemed flat and easy. Father, if there are steps I am about to take that are not from you, stop me, even if I am already halfway there. Even if I have already invested time or emotion or plans. Interrupt me with conviction. Gently but firmly remove the desire. Give me a holy unease that keeps me from walking into something not meant for me. I give you permission to pause me, to protect me from myself, to protect me from the version of life I would create without your guidance. Let me walk with reverence. Let me ask before I act. Let me listen longer than I plan. Let me weigh every step against your peace, and not my pressure. Let my feet learn to wait for the echo of your voice, instead of the applause of others. Because your approval is worth more than any opportunity. Your guidance is more secure than any instinct. Your voice is more precious than any temporary reward. Remind me that nothing you have for me will require me to disobey your peace. Nothing you ordain will pull me away from your presence. Nothing you bless will come at the cost of my soul's rest. So if a door requires me to compromise who I am becoming in you, then it is not mine to walk through, and I trust you to close it completely. Father, help me bless the path I did not take. Help me trust that what I walked away from was part of my rescue. Help me believe that every no I say in obedience is clearing space for a deeper yes with you. Because I do not want to build a life I have to sustain without you. I want to build on what you lead me into, where your presence not only goes before me, but surrounds me at every turn. So if today holds moments that feel unclear, lead me with your restraint. If I am tempted to move too quickly, steady me. If I am drawn to something that shines but lacks substance, remind me who I am and who you are. Let restraint be the guardian of my growth, the protector of my path, the quiet voice that says this step is not for now. And when I obey, let that obedience be my strength. Let it be the proof that I trust you more than I trust the urgency of this world. You are not just the God of green lights. You are the God of holy halts. And I will worship you in the pause, just as I do in the progress. Because both are sacred, both are yours, and I am too. Father, if you are the God who knows when to hold me back, then you are also the one who watches over me when I have no idea what I need. There is something humbling about knowing that while I sleep vulnerable, unaware, completely defenseless, you remain awake. Not blinking, not distracted, not turning away for even a second. You stay. You guard. You keep. And because of that, morning comes. Last night, like many before, I laid down with thoughts circling in my mind, things I did not get to finish, words I wish I could take back, emotions I was not sure how to name. I did not have the strength to sort through it all, so I gave it to you in the quiet. Not eloquently, not even fully intentionally, just a whisper from my spirit, hoping you would understand. And you did. You always do, even in the mess of my unspoken prayers. You know what I need. You stayed through every hour, through the parts of the night when my body rested, but my heart still wandered, through the dreams I do not remember, through the silence I did not notice. You stayed when I was not conscious of you. You stayed even though I gave you nothing in return but breath and a heartbeat. And somehow, you still saw it as sacred. Somehow, you still counted it as worth protecting. Father, you do not slumber. You do not grow weary. You do not set alarms or take breaks or close your eyes just for a moment. You are not like us. Your vigilance is steady, absolute, fueled not by obligation but by love. And this truth quiets every fear I wake up with, because what might have threatened me in the darkness never stood a chance against your watch. What might have crept into my spirit while I slept was stopped by your covering. I will never know how much you have blocked, removed, silenced, and redirected while I was unaware. But I believe it happened. I believe you were active while I was still, and it changes the way I wake up. Not just as someone lucky to have made it through the night, but as someone chosen to rise under the care of a faithful God. It makes each sunrise feel like a gift I did not earn. It reminds me that my strength did not preserve me, your mercy did. The enemy may have planned things I will never know, but he is no match for a father who never leaves his post. I wonder how many nights I thought were uneventful, but were really battlegrounds in the spirit. How many mornings I assumed were routine, but were actually the result of divine interception. And I wonder how often I forget to thank you for being the one who does the unseen work of keeping me through the long, silent hours. I am sorry for the times I have taken it for granted, for the times I assumed that rest was just biology, not a blessing. Thank you for guarding my mind while I rested, for keeping intrusive thoughts from becoming anchors, for calming my heart when fear tried to stir, for holding my breath steady when anxiety whispered lies in the shadows. Thank you for being the reason I woke up today with more peace than I had the night before. That did not come from my own power. It came from you. Let this truth carry me through the day, that the God who stayed up through the night is still with me now, that the one who kept me while I was asleep is more than capable of guiding me while I am awake. I do not have to carry the day alone. Just because my eyes are open, your presence is just as constant in daylight as it is in darkness, just as alert, just as aware. And because you watched over me in the night, I can begin today from a place of rest, not rush, from a place of trust, not tension. I do not need to scramble for control or strive to prove my worth. I am already held, already covered, already known. My soul can move with confidence because you have already scouted what lies ahead, and you are not leaving my side. Father, teach me to live like someone who is watched over, not with fear or paranoia, but with assurance, with the kind of quiet courage that only comes from being truly seen and deeply protected. Help me walk through this day with the awareness that nothing surprises you, that every meeting, every encounter, every unexpected change is unfolding under the eyes of a God who is never caught off guard. Let me draw from the same peace that carried me through the night. Let it settle my nerves when the world feels loud. Let it remind me that I do not have to react to everything, that the same stillness that filled the darkness can fill the day if I stay near to you. The stillness of being kept, the stillness of being guarded, the stillness of knowing that nothing gets to me without going through you first. And if today brings trouble, let me remember that you already saw it coming. You are not watching to see if I will make it. You are watching to make sure I do. You are not passive. You are invested in every detail, every step, every breath. You know where to send angels before I call. You know where to whisper peace before panic even arrives. You are not a responder. You are a keeper. And that makes all the difference. So I give you this day the same way I gave you the night, not perfectly, but honestly. I place my mind, my emotions, my body, my spirit, and every part of my schedule into your care. And I do it with confidence, not because I know what is coming, but because I know you are watching, from beginning to end, from the hours I will remember to the ones that will pass quietly. You are there. And if you never sleep, then I do not have to live in fear of what happens when I am not paying attention. I do not have to cling to control out of desperation. I do not have to exhaust myself trying to see what you already see. I can rest. I can breathe. I can trust, because you watched over me all night, and you are not stopping now. Father, if you were watching over me while I slept, if you carried me through unseen dangers and kept the night from becoming heavier than I could bear, then I trust you now as I step into the age of daylight. Because though the morning feels new, there are old wounds still living beneath my skin. Some were quiet during the night, but now they stir. They rise with me. They ache in ways I cannot always describe. And I need you not just as my keeper in the shadows, but as my healer in the light. I come to you, not with a list of requests, but with a body that feels worn, a heart that feels bruised, and a mind that often battles more than it shows. I know you see it all. I know you see beneath the polished surfaces, beneath the clothes and the posture and the measured tone of my voice. You see the tension I carry in my shoulders, the fatigue I hide in my eyes, the pain I have normalized but never surrendered. You see the places where fear has settled deep, where disappointment has built walls, and where old memories still shape how I move through today. You know every part of me, not just my story, but my chemistry, not just my habits, but my wiring. You see, where the stress has built up in my nervous system, where anxiety clings to my chest, where grief still hides behind strength. And you are not overwhelmed by it. You are not frustrated with how long it is taking me to heal. You are patient, you are present, and you are able. Father, I need you to touch the places no one else can reach. The wounds I have learned to live with. The ones I have minimized because they are not dramatic. But they are still there. Maybe it is the chronic pain I carry, or the emotional fatigue I can't name. Maybe it is the burnout I keep pushing through, or the tension I pretend is not affecting me. Maybe it is the lingering sadness that comes without reason, or the deep weariness that sleep never seems to solve. Whatever it is, you see it, and you care. You are the God who healed with a word, with a touch, with a glance. You never rushed healing. You never brushed it off. You never blamed the wounded for their wounds. You sat with them. You reached for them. You restored them with tenderness. And I believe you are still doing that now, not just in churches or crowded rooms, but here in this moment, in this breath, in this fragile prayer. I open every hurting place to you now. Every tightness, every sore spot, every silent scream that has not left my lips. I do not want to carry it alone. I do not want to cope anymore when healing is possible. I do not want to push through pain like it is my identity. I want to be made whole, not just functionally better, but deeply restored. I want my peace back, my breath back, my body back, my joy back. And so I ask you to begin where no one else can. Heal from the inside out. Reach beyond symptoms and into the roots. Remove the pressure I have placed on myself to hold it all together. Unclench my hands. Soften the parts of me that grew rigid to survive. Ease the tension I am not even aware of. Let healing flow into the very fabric of my being, into bones, into blood, into memory, into breath. Remind me that healing is not always immediate, and it does not have to be dramatic to be real. It happens in layers, in rest, in stillness, in obedience, in surrender. Sometimes it comes with time. Sometimes it comes with insight. Sometimes it begins with a single choice to believe you are willing. And today, I choose to believe, even if the pain has not left yet, even if I do not feel different immediately. I choose to believe that something has started, that you are working within me, cell by cell, moment by moment, to bring me back into balance, into light, into life. Father, help me care for the body you have given me. Help me to listen when it asks for rest, not punish it for being tired. Help me to feed it, move it, and honor it as a temple of your spirit, not as a problem to fix or a project to perfect. Help me to reject shame when I am not at full strength, and instead embrace grace as my covering. You never demanded perfection from broken people. You simply asked them to come. So here I am. Not polished, not strong, not ready to conquer the world. Just present, just honest, just willing to let you do what only you can do. Let healing begin with awareness, with compassion, with the quiet courage to let you into the places I have kept hidden even from myself. If there are words that have wounded me, pull out their thorns. If there are lies I have believed about my worth, silence them with truth. If there are patterns in my thinking that keep me locked in cycles of fear or despair, renew my mind. If trauma has altered my wiring, begin the process of restoring me. I do not need to understand it all. I just need to trust that you do. Let your spirit be medicine. Let your presence be the balm that soothes the ache no one else can see. Let every moment with you today be part of my recovery. Let laughter be healing. Let quiet be healing. Let joy be healing. Let tears be healing. Let every deep breath remind me that I am not broken beyond repair. You are the God who makes all things new. Not just the spiritual things, but the emotional, the mental, and the physical. You are not indifferent to what my body carries. You are not distant from what my heart holds. You are with me, and you are for me, and your eyes, which never leave me, look with compassion on my wounds, not with judgment, but with the intention to heal. So I won't hide anymore. I won't minimize or pretend. I will meet you in truth and let truth begin the mending. You are gentle with the weak, tender with the weary, strong enough to lift what I can no longer bear. And if you never sleep, then I can rest even in the process, even in the waiting, even in the not yet. You see me, you know me, you heal me, one breath at a time, one wound at a time, one new day at a time, and I will let you. Father, you are my shelter when I feel exposed to the storms of this world. And after pouring out my wounds before you, I rest in the assurance that I am not left out in the cold. I am not abandoned. I am not overlooked. I am held in the calm of your presence, where healing continues like a gentle river flowing beneath the surface. My soul leans into you now, wary but willing, fragile but still reaching. As I take the next breath, I sense that you are still drawing me close, not rushing me, not pushing me forward, but walking beside me with patient footsteps. There is something sacred about being known so deeply and still loved without conditions. Even as the layers of healing unfold within me, I am reminded that I do not have to wait to feel whole to walk in communion with you. You meet me where I am, and in doing so, you become my steady ground. The world outside may roar with noise, but here, in this silent meeting between my spirit and yours, I hear something different. I hear safety. I hear stillness. I hear the whisper that I am not alone in my process, that you are not simply the God of arrival, but the God of the journey. You walk with me in every uncertain step, holding the pieces I am too tired to carry and restoring the strength I thought I had lost for good. Father, be my inner refuge today, no matter what external realities I face. Let me wake not only my body but also my soul. Let me rise not only to fulfill tasks, but to live with intention and deep awareness of your nearness. There is no outer chaos that can undo what you are doing within me if I remain anchored in you. No criticism louder than your affirmation. No confusion stronger than your peace. no past pain heavier than your grace. Even now, I sense you calming the waters in my spirit. You are the voice above the waves, the light that keeps me from drifting. You are the warmth I lean into when the coldness of this world tries to numb my hope. In you, I find shelter, not a shelter that removes all hardship, but one that holds me steady through it. You do not promise ease, but you promise presence. You do not always remove the fire, but you walk with me in it. Let me be deeply rooted in that truth today. Father, let me walk through my morning with the awareness that I am sheltered not by circumstance, by you. You shield my mind from the lies that threaten to return. You guard my heart from slipping back into fear. You cover me not with walls, but with wings, with softness, with mercy, with the kind of safety that does not require me to pretend I'm stronger than I am. Today, I will not armor up with anxiety. I will not clothe myself in control. I will not speak from the voice of self-protection. Instead, I choose your peace as my covering, your love as my language, and your truth as my compass. I do not need to harden to survive. I am allowed to be tender in a world that often demands hardness. I am allowed to rest without guilt, to trust without explanation, to love without fear of depletion, because you are the one filling me. If I meet harsh words today, let your gentleness guide my response. If I encounter uncertainty, let your wisdom temper my decisions. If I feel the pressure to perform or prove, remind me that my worth was never in what I could do, but in who I am to you. I am not just useful, I am cherished. I am not just seen, I am held. And in that holding, I find the strength to carry on not as a warrior in battle, but as a beloved child walking home. Let me not miss the quiet beauty hidden in today. Father, let me find it in the smallest places: a morning breeze brushing past my skin, the first sip of warm tea, a smile exchanged, a silence shared. These are not meaningless moments. They are sacred spaces where your spirit breathes between the lines of my schedule. Help me not to rush through them. Let my awareness be slow, my gratitude tender, and my heart awake to how near you truly are. If doubts come, I want to chase them away with noise. I will sit with them and ask you to speak into them. If fear comes, I want to mask it with false courage. I will bring it to you honestly and let you transform it with truth. If loneliness comes, I want to numb it with distraction. I will allow it to draw me deeper into intimacy with you. You are not afraid of my emotions. You are not distant from my struggles. You dwell in them with redemptive love. Even as I move from this sacred space into the rhythm of the day, I ask you to remain the rhythm within me. Be the pulse beneath every breath, the calm in every task, the softness in every response. Remind me that I do not step into the world alone. Your spirit goes before me, surrounds me, and lives within me. And that is my shelter. Not some distant tower to run to in times of danger, but a present comfort, a living peace, a quiet assurance in the middle of all things. Let my body remember this as I walk. Let my thoughts echo it as they rise. Let my voice carry it into conversations. And let my heart rest in it with each beat. I will not borrow fear from tomorrow. I will not build walls around my heart today. I will let love lead. I will let grace soften. I will let you carry me in every invisible way. Because you are here, and that changes everything. Father, as this new morning breathes open before me, I lean once more into your presence. You were with me in the quiet places of yesterday. And now, as the sun rises again, I sense you gently urging me forward, not with force, but with that patient whisper of grace that invites me to begin again, to trust again, to take one more step with a heart softened by your mercy. And is not that what I need today? Father, the courage to start over, not in a dramatic, world-altering way, but in the silent choices of this moment. To begin again in how I think, in how I speak, in how I show up in the little moments that no one else may see. To believe that I am not behind, not disqualified, not broken beyond repair, but perfectly positioned for something new, because you are not done with me yet. The shelter of your presence still lingers in my soul, like dew on the grass before the morning heat arrives. And from there, I feel you calling me not to stay hidden, but to emerge, to live, to risk loving again, to re-enter the world with a renewed heart. Yesterday's fears may try to cling to me. Yesterday's failures may try to speak louder than your voice. But today is not yesterday. And you, my Father, are always creating something new even in me. So as I rise, let this be the posture of my heart, not striving to prove, not aching to perform, but simply returning to the truth that I am yours, that in every area where I have fallen short, your grace is already rebuilding. In every space that feels empty, your spirit is already moving. In every longing that aches for meaning, you are already present, shaping, redeeming, filling the cracks with light. Give me the grace today to begin again with tenderness. Let me speak gently to myself. As you do, let me release the urge to measure my progress by productivity and instead look for fruit in the quiet ways. Patience where I used to react, compassion where I used to protect, surrender where I used to control. Let the beginning I seek be less about outcome and more about openness. I do not want to live this day hardened by disappointment. I want to carry a soft heart, even if that means it gets bruised sometimes, because a soft heart is a trusting heart, and trust is the language of faith. Let me trust you today in the details I cannot predict, in the people I cannot change, and in the circumstances I cannot fix. Let that trust be more than a whispered word. It can be the way I breathe, the way I walk, the way I look at the world. Father, I know you see the places in me that still carry weight. You see the hope that feels fragile, the joy that flickers like a candle in the wind. And still, you call me to begin again. You are not discouraged by my doubts. You are not impatient with my slowness. You delight in every small step I take toward healing. You smile when I choose to rise instead of stay down. You celebrate every whisper of faith, even when it trembles. Let me remember that today. Let me start this day not from a place of lack, but from a place of enough, because you are enough. Your love is sufficient. Your grace is abundant. And because of that, I can try again. I can speak with kindness. I can listen with care. I can forgive before being asked. I can show up with presence instead of pretense. I can live from the inside out, not seeking to impress, but simply to love. There will be things today that challenge me. Father, that is certain. There may be conversations that stir old wounds or tasks that overwhelm me. But in all of it, remind me to return not to panic, not to fear, not to self-reliance, but to you. Let every challenge be an invitation to deeper trust. Let every discomfort become a doorway into new growth. Let every delay become a lesson in grace. I ask for the courage to move at the pace of peace. Not pressure, to resist the pull of urgency that often drowns out wisdom. To live attentive, not anxious. Present, not rushed. Rooted in truth, not tossed by fear. When I feel scattered, draw me back to center. When I feel stretched thin, fill me from within. When I forget who I am, remind me I belong to you. And if I fall again today, and I might let me fall into mercy, not shame. Let me speak to myself with the same compassion you offer. Let me take responsibility without self-condemnation. Let me remember that repentance is not punishment, it is realignment. It is coming home to truth, and I never have to fear returning to you, because you are always waiting with open arms. So I welcome this new day with open hands and an open heart. I will not carry yesterday's heaviness into today. I will not drag regrets into the sunrise. I will begin again, not because I have earned a second chance, but because you delight in giving it. This is not weakness, it is wisdom. This is not retreat, it is renewal, and I receive it with gratitude. Thank you, Father, for loving me through every beginning and every return, for seeing my flaws and calling me forward anyway, for being the unshakable ground beneath every unsteady step. You are not just my protector. You are my place of courage. And because of you, I will keep rising. I will keep starting. I will keep choosing love, even when fear feels easier. I will keep saying yes to grace, again and again and again. Father, as the light deepens across the quiet morning sky, I return to this space with you once more. You have given me the courage to begin again, and now I ask for something just as holy, just as vital, the strength to remain still within. Because, Father, even as I rise to meet the world, my soul longs not to be hurried, not to be pushed by fear or noise, but to be anchored in the stillness only you can provide. Yesterday you taught me that I do not have to strive to earn the morning. Today, you remind me I do not have to outrun the day. There is a deeper strength, one the world does not often celebrate: the strength to be steady when things around me shift, to be quiet when everything begs for noise, to be slow when the world insists on speed. That strength, Father, only you can cultivate in me, and I want it more than ever. Sometimes, I equate stillness with passivity or even failure, but you are showing me that stillness is not absence, is presence. It is attention. It is being so deeply rooted in you that the winds may blow, but I am not shaken. It is knowing that I can pause, breathe, and not miss anything you have for me. Stillness allows me to hear your whispers, to feel the rhythm of grace moving through my thoughts and decisions. It is in the stillness that I stop reacting and start responding with wisdom. with clarity, with love. Father, I confess that sometimes my heart races ahead of you. I wake up already burdened with lists and timelines, already judging myself by outcomes I have not even reached. But you never asked me to carry the weight of a day before it begins. You only asked me to walk with you, one moment at a time. And in that walking, let stillness be my companion, not a forced silence, but a sacred awareness that you are here, and you are enough. Teach me to be still without becoming stagnant. Let my stillness be rooted, not rigid, alive with the quiet trust that you are guiding even the unseen. Let it shape how I listen to others, how I move through crowded spaces, how I handle the interruptions and irritations that seek to pull me off course. Let stillness be the space between stimulus and response, the pause where your spirit has room to speak. Father, I do not want to rush past the sacred. I do not want to miss the softness of the morning breeze, the quiet kindness in someone's voice, or the weight of beauty wrapped in ordinary things. And I know that if I am always sprinting, I will. But if I move slowly enough to notice, I will see you in the details, in the curve of light on a windowsill, in the still moment before a word is spoken, in the unseen peace that slips into my chest when I let go of control. Let that be my strength today, not the strength to power through, but the strength to hold space, the strength to resist panic when answers do not come fast, the strength to remain calm when things do not unfold according to my plans, the strength to remember that your timing is not rushed and your path is not chaotic. You lead with gentleness. You guide without pushing, and you call me not to speed, but to surrender. In a world that rewards hustle, may I find deep joy in a slower rhythm. In a culture that celebrates loud voices, may I find my place in quiet assurance. In moments that demand urgency, may I respond with a measured heart. And in all of it, let my soul whisper, you are here, Father, and that is enough. Help me notice when I begin to lose that stillness, when anxiety starts to spin me into imagined futures, when irritation rises because things feel out of control, when comparison pulls me into someone else's lane. Let me return not with shame, but with clarity. Let me pause, breathe, and realign with the peace that surpasses understanding. Let that peace be not just something I receive, but something I carry. Stillness does not mean I face difficulty, but it means I face it alone. It does not mean I avoid conflict, but that I enter it grounded. It does not mean I lack passion, but that my passion is rooted in presence, not pressure. It means I walk through this day with a calm core heart that beats in time with yours, not with the world's alarms. Let that stillness shape how I lead and how I serve, how I speak to my family, my coworkers, strangers, and friends. Let it soften the edges of my impatience. Let it deepen the well of my compassion. Let it turn moments of waiting into moments of worship. Let it turn silence into sanctuary. Let it make space for your voice to rise above all others. And even when the noise cannot be escaped, when the day pulls me into loud, crowded places, into tasks and trials, I ask you to preserve that still space within me, the part of me that remains with you, the part that is not distracted, not divided, not desperate but whole and well, because it knows where it belongs. Father, thank you for modeling stillness yourself. You rested. You withdrew. You walked, not ran. You listened before speaking. You moved with intention, never in panic. Help me mirror that in my own way. Not perfectly, but consistently. Not flawlessly, but faithfully, and in doing so, let my life be a quiet echo of your presence in a world that forgets how to pause. I welcome this day not as something to conquer, but something to be present within. I do not want to rush past its gifts, its lessons, its opportunities to grow. Let stillness be my strength and also my offering. Let it transform not just how I experience peace, but how I become a source of peace for others. Let it guide the way I breathe, speak, move, love, and live with gentle rhythm. Holy patience and unwavering trust in you. Father, as I settle once more into the quiet of this morning, I lean into the stillness you have planted in my soul. You have taught me to find strength in the calm, to walk through chaos without losing the gentle rhythm of your presence. And now, Father, from that place of stillness, I ask for something even deeper. Give me the courage to love without fear. It is so easy to speak of love when all is well, when my heart is full and the people around me respond with kindness and warmth. But love becomes weighty when it must stand firm through misunderstanding, rejection, or silence. Love becomes sacrificial when it must give without the guarantee of return. And that is when fear whispers loudest, reminding me of pain I have known before, of moments I gave too much and was left feeling unseen. But you, Father, have never loved me with caution. You have never withheld affection out of fear. I would not respond. You did not wait for me to be perfect before pouring out mercy. You have loved boldly, fiercely, faithfully, even when I faltered, even when I failed to love you back. And that is the love I long to reflect, not just in safe moments, but in uncertain ones too. Give me the courage to love people even when they cannot receive it well. Give me the strength to love when it costs something, when it demands humility, patience, or vulnerability. Let me not hold back because of fear, but let me lean into your love, which never runs dry. Let it be the source I draw from when I feel empty, when I feel overlooked, when I feel like turning inward instead of reaching out. Teach me to love those I do not understand, to speak gently even when opinions clash, to hold space for those who hurt differently than I do, to sit beside someone in silence when there are no words that heal. Father, let my love be brave enough to stay present, even when presence feels awkward or inconvenient. Let it be real and raw and rooted in you, not in perfection or performance. I know there will be moments today where my instinct will be to withdraw to protect my heart, to withhold a kind word, to avoid the emotional risk of connection. But remind me in those moments that every act of love is a seed planted, even if I do not see the harvest. Remind me that loving someone is not about fixing them, but about reflecting you, that it is not my job to change hearts, but simply to show up with mine open. Give me the courage to love myself as you do, without harsh judgment, without constant comparison. When I am tempted to see only my flaws, let me look through your eyes and see a work in progress held in grace. Let that self-compassion free me to love others more generously, because I am not living from scarcity, but from the overflow of your affection. Let my love not depend on mood, or circumstance, or how much energy I have left. Let it be consistent, not forced but flowing. Let it touch the weary with gentleness. Let it interrupt the noise of the day with kindness. Let it be simple like a smile, a listening ear, a message that says, I am thinking of you. Let it be fierce like the choice to forgive again, to hope again, to speak life where bitterness tries to take root. Father, help me resist the lie that love must be earned. Help me offer it freely, as you do. Help me break the walls I have built in the name of protection, walls that have only kept joy from reaching me. Give me the courage to love in places I once retreated from, to enter rooms where pain lingered, to write new stories where old wounds once lived. Let me love not just in thought, but in action. Let me be bold enough to apologize first, brave enough to reach out, humble enough to admit when I was wrong. Let me leave behind pride, fear of rejection, and the need to be right, and instead walk into every room carrying peace, even if my hands shake while doing it. And when love is not returned, when efforts go unnoticed, when grace feels wasted, remind me that nothing poured out in love is ever truly lost. It finds its way back in your timing, in your way, in forms I may never expect. Remind me that every step taken in love echoes in eternity, no matter how small or quiet it may feel now. Help me to see people not as interruptions, but as invitations, each one a chance to bring your light. Even briefly, whether it is a stranger or someone I see every day. Let me approach them with the curiosity of compassion. Let me ask how they are, and mean it. Let me listen with a heart that is not rushing to respond. Let my presence tell them they are seen, not for what they do, but for who they are, your beloved. And when I feel the ache of loneliness or misunderstanding, let that ache not drive me away from love, but deeper into it. Let it soften me, not harden me. Let it remind me that love is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Let me keep loving anyway, because you never stopped loving me. Father, you are love itself. You define it. You embody it. You pour it out every morning like sunlight rising over the horizon. So teach me to mirror that light. Not perfectly, but faithfully. Not without fear, but beyond fear. Let love be the language I speak in my actions, my silence, my presence, and my prayers. Let it be what remains when all else fades. And as this day unfolds, one moment at a time, let me not miss a single opportunity to love. Let me not get too distracted, too tired, or too busy to offer the one thing that always matters. Let love be the legacy I leave today, even if no one sees. Even if no one says thank you, because you see. And you are the reason I love at all. Father, in the hush of this morning, where all things feel possible again. I come to you with a heart that longs to begin anew. The courage to love that you poured into me yesterday has softened the soil. But now, Father, I ask for the grace to start again wherever I have faltered, because I know that love is not only bold, it is also patient, and it begins again as many times as it takes. Sometimes I wake up with the weight of yesterday, still clinging to my thoughts. A word I should not have said, a kindness I failed to offer, a moment I let slip away, and yet here I am, invited once more into the miracle of morning, where your mercy greets me before my regrets even have a chance to speak. Father, thank you for not keeping score, for not folding your arms in disappointment, but instead holding them open wide with compassion I do not deserve. There is something sacred in the way you allow each day to begin with light. No matter how long the night has been, no matter how deeply I doubted myself, you write the sky in soft colors to remind me that I, too, am allowed to start over. You do not shame me for needing another chance. You welcome me into it, gently and without rush, whispering that what matters is not how many times I have failed, but how faithfully I return. Let that truth take root in me today. Let it loosen the grip of perfectionism, the pressure to get everything right. Let it release me from the trap of shame and the fear of not being enough. I am not called to be flawless, I am called to be faithful. And faithfulness looks like coming back to you, again and again, with whatever is left in my hands. Give me grace to begin again in my thoughts. Father, when I fall into spirals of fear or judgment or self-doubt, when I assume the worst or speak harshly to myself in my mind, help me pause. Help me notice the moment. Breathe deeply and choose again. Let my thoughts turn gently toward kindness, toward hope, toward the truth you have spoken over me, not the lies I have collected from this world. Give me grace to begin again in my relationships. Maybe there are tensions I have allowed to linger, or conversations I have avoided. Maybe I have let my guard rise too high or held too tightly to pride. But if you are the God of restoration, then let me be someone who reaches out first, who breaks the silence with humility, who chooses connection over comfort. Let me not wait for the perfect moment, let me create it, by simply showing up with honesty and grace. Give me grace to begin again in my purpose. Some days I feel so aligned, so clear. Other days I question everything, whether I am making a difference, whether I am doing enough, whether I am even on the right path. But maybe clarity does not always come in one sweeping moment. Maybe it comes in small steps of faith. So today, help me take the next step, even if I do not see the full map. Help me trust that you are leading me, even when the road feels hidden. And Father, give me grace to begin again in rest. So often I equate rest with weakness, or I wait until I am too weary to function before I allow myself to pause. But you did not design me to earn rest. I was created to live from it. Let me make space today for silence, for stillness, for the kind of quiet that heals. Let me remember that I am not loved for my productivity, but simply because I belong to you. Teach me how to begin again, not just once, but over and over. Every time I lose patience, let me try again. Every time I forget to pray, let me start anew. Every time I turn away from what is right, let me turn back, without delay or shame. Let each moment of failure become a doorway to grace, not a dead end. Let me live like someone who believes in second chances, not just for others, but for myself as well. Let beginning again become a rhythm, not a rare event. Let it be the way I walk through life with a soft heart, an open mind, and hands ready to rebuild whatever has fallen. Let me be gentle with others as they try again too. Let me not hold their past against them or expect their transformation to be instant. If I have known grace, let me give it. If I have been forgiven, let me forgive. And when I feel too tired to start over, when disappointment wears heavy, when I feel like I have tried too many times, let me rest in you. Remind me that I am not carrying the weight of the world. You are. Remind me that grace is not earned through striving, but received in surrender. Let me lie down beside still waters and let you restore my soul. Let me rise again, not in my own strength, but with the breath of your love filling my lungs. This morning, Father, I choose to begin again, not with fanfare or fireworks, but with a quiet yes in the secret place of my heart, a yes to the process, the progress, and the possibility, a yes to trusting you, even when I feel unworthy, a yes to hope that is not dependent on results, but rooted in your character. I begin again with gratitude, because even this moment is a gift, even the breath in my body, the softness of this light, the whisper of renewal in the air, it all reminds me that you are near. You are for me, and you have not given up on what you have started in me. So I will not give up either. Thank you, Father, for mornings that bring mercy, for sunrises that whisper of newness, for a heart that can still be tender, still be moved, still say yes. Let this day be the canvas where I paint again, not trying to recreate yesterday, but embracing the freedom to make something beautiful, something honest, something yours. Let each step I take today be covered in grace. Let each word I speak carry the weight of new beginning. Let me walk through this day not looking back in regret or forward in fear, but rooted right here, where you are, where starting again is not just allowed, it is celebrated, where beginning again is not a sign of failure, but of faith, where love, once more, leads the way. Father, as I rise into another morning, carried by the promise of new beginnings, I bring with me the quiet ache that still lingers, this sense of waiting that seems to echo through my soul. Even as I begin again, even as I say yes to grace and second chances, there are desires that remain unfulfilled, prayers that hang suspended, questions that rest without answers. And so I come to you not just to begin again, but to learn how to wait well within it. Because waiting is not easy. Father, I want so much to move forward, to see fruit, to receive clarity. But there are seasons when you call me not to act, not to chase, not to fix, but simply to be still. And in that stillness, in that open-handed posture, I find myself both exposed and embraced. I see where I am tempted to fill the silence with solutions, and yet you gently invite me to let silence be the space where you speak, It is hard, Father, to wait when I do not understand the timing, when the road ahead is hidden behind mist, when doors stay closed longer than I expected, when it feels like everyone else is running while I am learning to rest. But you do not measure my worth by my pace. You do not rush what is sacred. You are not slow as I define slowness. You are precise. Deliberate, working in rhythms that are wholly even when they feel delayed. Help me trust your pace today. Let me not despise the waiting, but find within it a deeper intimacy with you. Let the pause be purposeful. Let the silence become sanctuary. Let the time that feels lost be transformed into something eternal. Because what you shape in me during the waiting is often more important than what I am waiting for. Teach me to listen, Father, not just with my ears, but with my heart. Let me notice the quiet nudges, the soft convictions, the way you lead not with shouts but with whispers. Let me lean into the word not for quick answers, but for deep roots. Let me stop striving long enough to feel the movement of your spirit, steady and sure, even when nothing seems to be moving around me. Let the waiting deepen my worship. Let it purify my motives. Let it refine my expectations. Maybe the delay is not punishment, but protection. Maybe what I ask for is good, but not yet ready. Or maybe I am not yet ready for it. Either way, help me surrender my timeline and receive yours with open hands. Help me to believe, truly believe, that you are never late and you never forget. Give me strength, Father, not just to endure, but to remain expectant. Let hope rise again today, not as a naive wish, but as a confident trust that what you promised, you will fulfill in your perfect way. Let me not grow weary in doing good, even when the harvest has not yet come. Let me keep sowing in faith, watering in prayer, tending in obedience, and resting in the assurance that no act of love, no prayer of faith, no surrender of self is ever wasted in your kingdom. When my heart begins to wander in the waiting, draw me back. When impatience tries to plant doubt in me, speak louder with your promises. When I am tempted to settle for less, just to escape the discomfort, remind me that you are the God of exceedingly and abundantly more than all I could ask or imagine. Let me not trade your best for something immediate. Let me not move ahead of your will out of fear that you will not show up. And in this waiting, Father, help me love better. Help me notice others who are waiting too, those holding grief in silence, those carrying dreams no one sees, those enduring without applause. Let me be a comfort to them. Let me sit beside them without needing to fix anything. Let me be someone who honors their waiting and does not rush their process. As you are patient with me, let me be patient with others. Let me also wait on myself with kindness. I can be so quick to expect immediate transformation, but healing takes time. Growth takes time. Becoming takes time. Let me be gentle with my own becoming. Let me celebrate small steps. Let me rest when I need to, knowing that rest is not regression. Let me keep showing up, even when I feel like progress is invisible. You see what I cannot. You measure what I overlook. Today, I will breathe deeply in this space between promise and fulfillment. I will walk slowly in intentionally, with a heart that is learning to embrace not just the destination, but the journey itself. I will gather the gifts hidden in this, in between humility, gratitude, trust, and I will offer them back to you, not with clenched fists, but with lifted hands. Thank you, Father, that I do not wait alone. You wait with me. You wait in me. You wait through me. And while I wait, you work. You move in ways I cannot see, arranging and aligning and preparing all things for my good and your glory. I do not have to know every detail. I only have to know you. And that, truly, is enough. So I surrender the pressure to force the next step. I release the tension I hold in my shoulders, in my mind, in my heart. I inhale your peace. I exhale control. I return to the truth that waiting is not wasting. Waiting is worship. Waiting is faith in motion. Waiting is the melody between the verses of my story. And you are the composer who never writes without purpose. Let this waiting deepen my awe. Let it stretch my spirit wide enough to receive more of you. Let it awaken my awareness of beauty. Even here, even now, a bird's song, a morning breeze, the rustle of trees. Let me find you in these simple wonders while I wait for the greater ones to unfold. Father, if today is a day of answers, I will rejoice. But if today is another step in the waiting, I will still rejoice, because I am learning that your presence is not delayed. It is here. It is always. It is enough. And so I walk into this day with slow courage, with rooted trust, with open hands and a lifted heart. I walk not ahead of you, not behind you, but with you, in the rhythm of grace, in the patience of hope, in the strength of one who knows that the waiting will not last forever, but your love will. Father, even in the gentle quiet of morning light, I find that my soul continues its tender reaching, longing for more of you, more of your steady voice guiding me as I walk forward into this day. The echoes of yesterday still linger, but your grace softens their edges. In the rhythm of my thoughts, flowing like a stream that remembers every stone it passes, I carry forward the trust I placed in you just moments ago. For every breath is still a continuation of the one before it, and my heart knows that you are not finished working in me. You saw me before I opened my eyes today. Before my first conscious thought aligned with the weight of the new day. You already knew what I would carry. You already knew what I would battle and what I would cherish. So I surrender it all into your hands again. Help me to stay present, aware of you, like a child who does not worry about tomorrow because their father is near. Remind me that clarity does not always arrive through logic, but often through stillness. When I sit long enough to let your whisper rise above my doubts. Some moments come like waves, crashing with questions. Others drift like mist, unclear and quiet. Yet in both, you remain unchanged. You remain the rock beneath my unsteady steps. So in this chapter of my prayer, I simply ask for peace not just around me but within me. Let peace become my rhythm. Let calmness shape the words I choose, the way I carry myself through this day, and the thoughts I permit to stay in my mind. You have shown me again and again that I am not abandoned. The delays are not denials. The silence is not absence. There is a sacred weaving happening beneath the surface of everything I experience, and even if I cannot trace the pattern yet, I choose to believe that it is good. I choose to believe that you are faithful even when the evidence has not yet caught up with the promise. Give me eyes that see not only what is in front of me, but what is possible through your presence. Strengthen my resolve not to chase what others pursue, but to walk the quieter path you have asked me to follow. Let me not fear being misunderstood, overlooked, or even left behind, for the road I am on was marked by your hand, not theirs. This morning, I loosen my grip on the urgency to explain myself. I replace it with the peace of being known by you. In the middle of the noise and needs, be my anchor when decisions press close and confusion clouds my judgment. Bring me back to stillness when I feel hurried by the clock or by the weight of expectations. Slow my heart to hear you again. Not every battle must be fought. Not every voice must be answered. Teach me to choose wisely where I pour my energy. Teach me that choosing rest is not weakness but wisdom. Father, I carry names in my heart today. Names of those I love. Names of those I am trying to forgive. Names of those who do not know how much I care. I lift them to you silently, trusting you to reach them in ways I never could. Where there is tension, be the healing. Where there is pride, be the softening. Where there is distance, be the bridge. And for myself, I ask not for ease but for endurance. I ask not for perfection but for presence. I ask not for applause, but for alignment with what is true and eternal. Guard me from chasing empty victories. Instead, root me in the small, steady triumphs of obedience, compassion, and truthfulness. You see what is ahead. You know the unexpected turns, the surprise joys, and the tests of faith that will call me to deeper dependence. And still, you walk with me. You go before me. You surround me. Let me never forget that when I am tempted to rush into things. Slow me with your wisdom. When I am tempted to doubt my value, remind me of the cross. When I feel unseen, remind me that you never look away. This life you have given is not random. It is not meaningless. Every interaction, every breath, every stretch of silence holds potential to be transformed by grace. And I am not disqualified because I have been broken. In fact, you use brokenness as a doorway to beauty. Let me not resist that process. Let me meet it with faith. So once again, I place today into your hands. Let your light guide me. Let your truth guard me. Let your mercy restore me. And may every step I take echo the quiet confidence of someone who knows they are deeply loved and fully held by their Father. Father, as I continue from where my heart left off, still held in the comfort of your nearness, I remain surrendered to the quiet work you are doing within me. I sense that you are not finished yet, and in that awareness, I do not rush the process. I wait here, willingly, letting the morning light be the gentle witness to the faith you are shaping in the depths of me. The air is still, but my spirit stirs with expectation, not from the noise of ambition, but from the silent pull of purpose. This day is not a task to be conquered, but a path to be walked with you. I lay aside every attempt to control the path ahead, and I ask instead for the courage to walk with open hands and a steady heart. There are choices waiting for me today, some small, others weighty, and I do not wish to approach any of them without your guidance. I know now, more than ever, that peace does not come from having all the answers, but from trusting you in every unknown. So guide my steps not through thunder, but through the whisper that leads me gently. Let my strength today not be measured by what I can carry, but by how quickly I turn to you when I feel the weight rising. There is no shame in needing you, and there is no lack in leaning on you fully. Let the echo of my every action reflect the stillness you planted in me this morning. I choose surrender not because I am weak, but because I know you are strong. And in that strength, I find a new kind of bravery, the kind that does not need to shout or prove, but simply moves forward anchored in love. I will not fear the pauses, nor the places where I do not yet see progress. You work in silence, often beneath the surface, and I want to trust that timing. Let today not be driven by pressure, but by presence. Let urgency give way to faith, and fear be replaced by a quiet confidence rooted in who you are. Thank you for the quiet miracles, the ones I almost miss, because they come wrapped in the ordinary. The breath I take without thought, the smile I receive when I least expect it, the moment of laughter that breaks tension, or the still moment when I sense you near. These are the seeds of grace that you scatter throughout my day, and I want to be someone who notices. Let me become fluent in the language of wonder. Let me recognize holiness in the mundane, and truth in the gentle. And when I forget, which I sometimes do, pull me back not with guilt, but with kindness. Remind me that my relationship with you is not maintained by performance, but by proximity. I do not have to be impressive. I simply have to be available. And so here I am again, making room, clearing the clutter, and laying down the distractions. I do not have to prove anything to you, and in that freedom, I find the strength to keep going. Not rushed, not desperate, just honest and whole. There will be interruptions today, and moments I did not plan. Help me receive them not as obstacles, but as invitations to lean deeper into grace. Every conversation, every delay, every sigh, and every celebration is an opportunity to reflect who you are. Let me not miss the deeper work you long to do, even when it does not come in the form I expected. Your ways are higher, and though I do not always understand, I choose to trust. So I begin again, not from scratch, but from surrender. Not alone, but beside you, and that makes all the difference. Father, continuing from the gentle whisper you planted in my heart, I open my soul for a deeper awareness of the unseen battles that you fight on my behalf. Even when nothing looks urgent, when no crisis demands attention, I know that there is always more happening beneath the surface. I do not want to walk through this day unaware of how much depend on your unseen hand. Support the layers in me that grow weary from watching without seeing, waiting without knowing, obeying without explanation. This kind of obedience, the quiet kind, asks me to trust you beyond my senses. It is here I need your spirit to keep me aligned with truth when emotion tries to cloud it. Father, continuing from the silent peace you placed in the deep places of my soul, I ask again for clarity when clarity does not come quickly. I know that faith is not always about the answers I get, but the presence I sense. I choose to lean not on the certainty of outcomes, but on the certainty of your nearness. There is more unfolding than my eyes can catch, more mercy flowing than I can feel, and more protection surrounding me than I deserve. Guard me from misreading the silence as absence. Teach me that your quietness is often a shelter rather than a void. I surrender the urge to be in control, to understand every step, to trace every thread before it is complete. Help me become comfortable with sacred uncertainty, trusting that you write with a hand I cannot always follow, but a heart that never fails. Remind me that the lack of noise does not mean a lack of movement. Beneath what feels like stillness, you are weaving purpose, growing strength, and shielding me from dangers that I will never need to name. Let my inner world reflect the confidence of being watched over even in sleep, carried through storms I never saw, rescued from pits I never fell into, because you rerouted my steps before I arrived. I praise you not only for what you allow me to witness, but even more for what you protect me from without my knowing. Your guardianship is not always loud, but it is always enough. Teach me to stay grateful for hidden victories. When plans fall through, or conversations do not go as expected, or I am delayed, or overlooked, or stopped by something I do not understand, may I pause long enough to wonder if perhaps you are doing more than I can comprehend. May frustration turn into reverence. May disappointment give birth to discernment. Let me not waste the mystery by trying to decode it, but instead breathe deeply in its presence, aware that you are still with me. Father, shape in me a heart that honors your hiddenness. Let it not demand dramatic gestures to feel loved, but instead, find satisfaction in knowing that your eyes never leave me. Whisper to me in ordinary moments, in quiet commutes, in morning light touching the table, in a bird singing without fanfare. Help me to see you there, actively holding all things together. I place my trust in the shelter that does not boast, in the light that does not burn my eyes, in the path that curves gently until I recognize the wisdom of its turns. I may not see the full map, but I can take the next step because I trust the one who leads. I do not ask you to explain every detail, only that you keep me faithful in the small things and awake to the protection wrapped around each breath I take. Keep my spirit soft today, teachable and attentive. Let me notice when you are nudging me to turn left instead of right, to pause instead of speak, to wait instead of push forward. Let me not be so determined to chase a goal that I miss the detour of grace you have planned for me. Help me to honor delays, to bless inconveniences, and to stay open to divine disruptions. And when I feel resistance, let me not assume I am failing. Maybe it is the hand of a loving Father guiding me around on something unseen, pulling me back from a cliff I did not know I was near. I release the need to demand answers. Instead, I receive your peace in the not knowing. May my confidence be rooted in your character, not in my own ability to perceive. Father, I cherish the quiet ways you work. I receive the hidden gifts. I welcome the lessons that come not in thunder, but in whispers. I choose to believe that even today, something beautiful is being prepared that I do not yet see, and I choose to believe that my story is being written by hands that never sleep, never slip, and never forget how to hold me. Father, as I carry forward the quiet trust from the last whisper of prayer, I lean into this morning with an open heart, the way you guide me in silence, gently unfolding the day like light brushing across the earth, makes me pause with reverence. I do not walk by sight, but by the steady assurance that you are near. Help me, Father, to see the invisible threads you weave through my moments. Let me remember that every delay, every redirection, every closed door may carry your fingerprints. Even when I cannot trace the pattern, I will trust the heart that draws it. May I move through this day with the kind of faith that does not demand fireworks, but instead finds joy in subtle blessings, the quiet smile of a stranger, the unexpected pause, the comfort that arrives without explanation. Father, I know you are working even in the stillness. Train my eyes to recognize your presence in what seems ordinary. Give me a heart that is not restless in waiting, but restful in your promise. Let me meet this morning not with anxious striving, but with settled wonder, knowing that I am held. Father, there are moments when the noise of life feels too loud, and I strain to hear you. But even then, I sense that your voice is not in the storm, not in the earthquake, not in the fire, but in the gentle whisper that follows. Teach me to lean in close enough to hear that whisper, to recognize that even in the mundane, you are speaking. Every leaf that trembles in the morning breeze, every soft shadow cast by the sun, each quiet inhale, these carry the language of your care. I do not want to miss the sacred, because I am waiting for the spectacular. Let me not overlook the miracles that wear plain clothes. Let me not miss the wonder in the rhythm of daily grace. Father, remind me that it is not always in the grand gestures that your love shows up, but often in the things I might call small, a warm cup in cold hands, a message at the right moment, a breath taken when I thought I had no more to give. You meet me there, in the in-between, and when I feel the need to rush ahead, chase answers, or force clarity, remind me again to slow down, to look up, to see that you have already gone before me, that you are in this hour, that I do not need to strive to be seen, for you already see me fully. Father, if I become weary today, do not let me drift toward discouragement. Let me anchor to what is true. You have brought me through before. You have been faithful again and again, and you do not change. Your love is not fickle, not conditional, not shaped by how well I perform or how strong I appear. You love me simply because you are love. Let that be enough. Let that be the resting place for my soul today. I do not need to be impressive. I do not need to be perfect. I need only to be present, to stay close, to say yes to you in the quiet moments. Father, when I am tempted to measure the worth of this day by productivity, help me measure it by presence. Let success not be defined by crossed-off tasks, but by the depth of connection with you, with others, with myself. Let me not be so busy doing that I forget who I am becoming. If I pause to watch the light change on the wall, if I sit still long enough to hear a bird's song, if I smile at someone passing by, let me call it holy. Let me see that in all of it, you are there, inviting, revealing, holding. This day is not a test to pass, but a gift to open. Help me unwrap it slowly. Father, in the conversations I have today, may my words carry your kindness. May my tone reflect patience. May I speak less from fear and more from trust. May I listen not just to reply but to understand. And if someone near me is hurting, help me not rush past it. Help me hold space. Help me mirror the way you meet me gently, tenderly, without judgment. Use me as a vessel, not to fix, but to love. Let my presence be an echo of yours, quiet, but deeply felt. Unassuming, but unshakably anchored in grace. Father, in the stillness of this hour, I see how easy it is to forget that you are not just a part of my life, but the very breath within it. Not a segment to be scheduled, but the essence of it all. You are in every heartbeat, in every step. You are not distant. You are not passive. You are not waiting on a mountaintop for me to climb. You are here in the dust, in the quiet, in the waiting. And so, I do not need to wait for the right moment. This is the moment. This is where I meet you. This is where I surrender again. Not because I must, but because my soul longs for it. Father, I know that there will be things today I do not understand, situations I can control, people I cannot fix. But I can hold on to the truth that I am not alone in any of it, that you go with me, that you already know the path ahead, the detours, the roadblocks, and the beauty waiting around the bend. You have already marked it with mercy, already paved it with purpose, and so I walk not afraid, not striving, but with quiet assurance that each step is graced, that nothing will be wasted, that even what I call loss may become the soil of deeper growth. Father, there is something sacred in knowing I can come to you again and again with no script, no performance, no need to impress, that I can bring the full weight of my heart, the messy parts, the weary parts, the hopeful parts, and lay them down without fear, that your arms remain open, always, that your love is not seasonal. It is not withdrawn when I stumble. It is steady. It is fierce. It is tender. And I want to live today rooted in that love, to let it spill over into how I treat others, to let it transform the way I think, the way I speak, the way I move through this world. Father, if all I do today is breathe with intention, walk with humility, speak with kindness, and remain aware of your nearness, then let that be enough. Let me silence the voices that demand more, better, faster. Let me stay anchored in this quiet awareness of you, that you are enough, and in you, I am enough too. May I carry that truth like light in my chest, soft and warm and steady, as I step forward into this morning you have made. Let me not miss a single moment of the wonder it holds. Let my eyes stay open. Let my heart stay soft. Let my soul stay close. Father, this morning I come to you with a heart that has felt the tenderness of your nearness through each passing moment, from where I left off yesterday, resting in the assurance that you are the one who sees every wound before I speak of it. I continue now with a deeper awareness of just how gently you meet me in my weakest places. There is no crack in me too small for you to notice, no tremble in my spirit too subtle for you to calm. So here I am again, Father, knowing that the strength I need is not found in louder declarations or greater willpower. It is found in surrender. It is in laying down the illusion that I can carry all things, admitting instead that I was never meant to. You, who formed me with hands of intention and breathed life into me with a purpose so sacred, never expected me to be invincible. You only asked me to be dependent. And dependence on you is not weakness, it is wisdom. In the quietest spaces of my heart where fear still lingers, you arrive without judgment. You do not dismiss my trembling as failure. Instead, you draw near with compassion. You whisper reminders that my limits are the very places where your limitless grace begins to work most powerfully. You do not demand that I fix myself. You offer instead to carry me through the parts I can fix. And that truth steadies me like nothing else can. Father, I ask today not for the absence of weakness, but for the courage to invite you into it. I ask that when I feel fragile emotionally, mentally, or physically, I hide it behind false strength. Instead, let me learn to bring it to you as my offering, knowing you never despise what is honest. You transform my frailty into testimony. You turn my lowest points into the very ground where your miracles grow. When exhaustion comes, and it will, remind me to rest instead of forcing myself to perform. When discouragement whispers that I am not enough, remind me that you have never needed my perfection, only my availability. When shame tries to replay old failures, drown it out with your voice that says, I am still chosen, still known, still deeply loved. You, Father, do not measure me by my victories. You measure me by my willingness to rise again with you. You do not expect me to conquer every mountain alone. You simply ask that I reach out my hand. And you promise to pull me up. So let that be the rhythm of my day, not conquering, but clinging, not pushing through in pride, but pressing in with trust. And for the places in me that still feel unresolved, the wounds that have not yet healed, the prayers that still hang in the silence, I bring them now to your feet. I dress them up. I pretend they do not sting. I will simply offer them to you, the God who binds up the brokenhearted and heals every invisible ache with patience and care. You are not impatient with my process. You are present in it. Father, if I falter today, let it not bring despair, but draw me closer. Let every stumble remind me I am still in motion, still being shaped by your grace. Let every tear be a reminder that I feel deeply because you created me to carry love. Let every doubt that brushes against me be met with the shield of your truth that I can choose to believe again and again. And when I see others walking through their own fragile places, struggling, discouraged, Burdened, help me not to rush past them. Let me carry the same gentleness you offer me. Let me be a reminder of your presence in their valley. Let me speak with empathy, not pity. Let me offer my presence, not quick fixes. Let me be a vessel of comfort that you fill, even in the tasks ahead of me today, when I feel stretched beyond my capacity. When the demands outweigh the strength I feel I possess, remind me again that I was never meant to function alone. You are my portion. You are my resource. You are my resilience. I will not break if I lean into you. So now, as I rise into this day, I carry not the pressure to be flawless, but the invitation to be real with you. I will move with honesty, pray with trust, speak with kindness, and rest in the truth that your grace is sufficient for all of it. In every conversation, every decision, every quiet moment, I will find you there, working even in the places I cannot yet see. You are the strength that steadies my voice when I speak through tears. You are the hand that lifts my chin when I feel unworthy. You are the breath in my lungs when I feel I cannot go on. You are the stillness in my chaos, the softness in my battle, the song that plays when I have forgotten how to sing. And today, Father, I will walk in the truth that even in weakness, I am never without you. Father, as the light of morning gently touches the earth, I come to you again, carrying forward the quiet yearning of my soul that lingered from the breath of yesterday's prayer. The thoughts that poured from my heart in the stillness have not faded, they have deepened each moment since. I have felt the gentle nudge of your hand guiding the path beneath my feet. I sense that even before I open my eyes each morning, you have already gone ahead, laying down the stones for me to step upon. You arrange each hour, not in chaos but in careful grace, assigning meaning to even the smallest detail of my day. And now, as I sit again in this hush of early light, I recognize how often I forget that you do not merely observe my journey from afar. You are the architect of each turn, the one who draws the map with love, the one who walks it before me, so I am never the first to face the unknown. You anticipate the trials that I will meet, and in mercy, you weave strength into my bones before I even know I will need it. You are never reactive, you are always ahead, always knowing, always preparing. So this morning, I ask to walk not in my own sense of direction, but in yours. My plans may seem logical, even noble, but what are they if not first filtered through your wisdom? I surrender even the good ideas, even the well-meant goals, and I place them on your table to be refined. If I must change direction, let it be because you have stirred something within me that I cannot ignore. If I must pause, let it not be out of fear, but out of reverence for your timing. If I must go forward into the unfamiliar, let it be with the courage that you have already gone there before me. Father, I have seen now how you do not just show me the way, you become the way. You do not hand me a compass and stand back. You are the compass. You are the north. When I do not know which path leads to peace, I remember you are peace when I am unsure where I will land. I remember you are the ground beneath it all. You are not simply the guide. You are the destination, and every holy footstep toward you is never wasted. So, guide me to speak where silence would hurt, and silence me where speech would wound. Let my ears be tuned to the whispers that matter, not the noise that distracts. Show me how to make decisions not based on comfort, but on truth. And if truth costs me something, let it be paid joyfully. Knowing it brings me nearer to your heart. Keep me from rushing ahead in my own ambition or dragging behind in anxious hesitation. Help me move at your rhythm, the one you crafted uniquely for me. As I consider the places I must go today, the rooms I will enter, the people I will see, the pressures I will face, I ask you to sanctify those spaces before I arrive. Let your peace walk in before me, steadying the atmosphere. Let your grace meet every conversation, so I speak not just words, but life. Let your wisdom govern my decisions, especially the ones I do not yet know I will have to make. Father, build patience into me before impatience tries to knock. Plant gentleness in me before irritation even has the chance to rise. Form humility in me before pride comes to test my intentions, and even in moments that feel insignificant. Remind me, nothing is small when it is done with you. There is no mundane task, no unnoticed effort that escapes your eye. When I offer kindness in private, when I choose integrity over applause, when I forgive quietly without expectation, you see it all, and you smile. That is enough for me. Let today be filled with such moments. Let me be faithful in them. Let me become more like you, not in grand gestures, but in quiet faithfulness. Father, I lift the weight of decisions I must carry today, both the visible and the hidden. Some are simple, others twist within me, waiting for clarity. You know them all. You have already stood at the crossroads I have yet to reach. So, whisper to my heart the direction that pleases you. Confirm it with peace that silences doubt. And if I must wait for the next step, give me grace to rest in not knowing, trusting that you are not idle even when I am still. I also bring before you the people who are waiting for me to lead, to love, to respond. Give me words that heal, not just correct. Give me patience that listens, not just reacts. Give me the ability to see others as you see them, not as interruptions, but as opportunities for compassion. Even when I am tired, remind me that you are not. Your strength can flow through my weakness if I make space for you. So I open the space now, unclench my grip, and invite you in. Let the path today not be measured in miles or accomplishments, but in obedience. If I walk 2 steps in your will, it is better than running far ahead without you. Keep me from envy when others seem further along. You are not rushing me. You are shaping me. You are far more concerned with who I become than how fast I get there. So mold me slowly, if that is best. Teach me to delight not in the outcome, but in the journey with you. And as the morning unfolds, with all its unknowns, let me trust this. I do not walk into an uncharted day. I walk into a story you have already written, a path you have already prepared, a purpose you have already seen. I step into a grace that has been waiting for me before I even rose from my bed, that changes how I see everything. Father, as I open my heart to this final chapter of our morning journey, I find myself lingering in the quiet space we have built together. Each day that passed was not just a repetition of words, but a deepening of trust, a layering of peace upon weariness, and a reminder that you are not just with me, but within me. This entire path has not been about arriving somewhere grand, but about remembering that I am never alone along the way. You have walked beside me in silence and song, in questions and clarity. And now I carry the echo of your voice with me into every new sunrise. There is no need for loud declarations or final statements here. Just a steady breath, just the warmth of knowing you remain. In these still morning hours, when the world is yet to awaken in full, I lean into the comfort of your presence like the gentle hush of dawn stretching across the sky. It is not the end that matters to me now. The way you have taught me begin each day. Each thought, each challenge with you. You have shown me that beginnings do not need to be perfect. They only need to be surrendered. As the light begins to spill into this room, I hold on to the truth that your goodness is not a distant promise, but a present help. You have softened the rough places in my soul. You have watered the dry ground with mercy. You have given me the courage to rest and the bravery to rise again. Every morning prayer, spoken or whispered, has become a thread that connects me back to you, weaving peace through the chaos of everyday life. And now, this final chapter is not a conclusion, but a continuation. Let me carry this rhythm into my tomorrow. Let me not lose the softness in the rush, nor forget the nearness I feel now when the noise returns. Let my choices reflect the quiet strength I found in you. Let my steps be marked by grace, not perfection. Let my eyes look for wonder, even in ordinary things. And if my heart begins to grow weary again, remind me that I can return to this very place, this place of stillness and truth, and you will be here, unchanging and kind. To the one who has journeyed through this prayer with me, I thank you. Whether you whispered each word alongside mine or listened in silence, your presence has mattered. You have allowed space for faith to grow. You have let your soul be held in the sacred, and for that, I honor you. This is not just a prayer. It has been a daily returning to the center of all things. It has been a pilgrimage inward, a drawing close to the one who calls you beloved. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are softened in spirit, strengthened in trust, and marked by quiet hope. If at any point you felt seen, lifted, or gently challenged, share it. Let your voice join the chorus of those who have dared to believe again. Your story matters. Your faith, even in its smallest flickers, is a light to someone else. Leave a word, a reflection, a moment below. Let this space become more than a monologue. It can be a meeting place for hearts walking toward the same light. Share your prayer. You never know who needs to hear it. And if this prayer has given you something real, a moment of peace, a tear of release, a breath of clarity, consider sharing it with someone you love. There is someone who needs to know they are not forgotten. That even in their weariness, there is a presence that watches and a love that holds. Share the video. Invite them into this sacred space. Let this be how hope spreads, not through shouting, but through softness. Through one soul saying to another, I have been there, too. And if you feel led to continue walking in faith with us, I welcome you to subscribe to this channel, not out of obligation, but out of shared longing for more moments like this, for more mornings filled with truth, for more reminders that we are not alone in our seeking. Each subscription is not a number, it is a soul that believes faith is worth nurturing. It is a quiet yes to returning again and again to the source of all comfort. Stay with us, grow with us, pray with us. Let this be a home for your spirit. There will be days ahead that stretch you, days that surprise you, days that undo you. But there will also be days that heal you, days that return joy, days that carry answers wrapped in silence. And through it all, may you remember this: you are loved more deeply than you understand, guided more gently than you can feel, and held more securely than you could ever see. Not because you earned it, but because love like this never needed earning. It simply is. So walk into today, not with fear, but with quiet fire, not needing every answer, but holding every promise. You do not go alone. You go with grace at your back and mercy before you. You go with the wind of kindness in your lungs and the whisper of peace on your shoulder. You go because you were created to walk, to trust, to rise, and to return again and again to the light. And just like that, the sun climbs a little higher, the air softens, the breeze stirs the leaves outside the window, and the day, like a gift, waits to be open, not perfectly, but faithfully, just as you are. Thank you for walking through this entire journey. If this series of morning prayers has spoken to you, I invite you to share your thoughts or your own prayer in the comments. Let others be lifted through your faith. Subscribe to the channel, share this video, and continue nurturing your daily walk with God one breath, one word, one morning at a time. You are not alone, and the light is still rising.